Coming into the NBA, Zion Williamson was compared to Hall of Famers like Charles Barkley. Now, they're saying he could be the next Greg Oden. Oden was picked number 1 over Kevin Durant in the 2007 draft, but while KD won Rookie of the Year, Oden was recovering from surgery. By year 6, just before KD won MVP, Oden was having his 6th surgery, playing a total of 82 games. That is just 1 full season in 6 years. Well, news just dropped that Zion might need another surgery on his broken foot, and the talk is getting louder that he might be the biggest what-if big man ever. But really, I think the NBA is failing Zion in 2 ways, and this first one is going to be pretty controversial, so just hear me out. First, here's the exact quote that's got everyone so afraid. Williamson has dealt with a series of setbacks on his injured right foot over the past 4 months. He has been overweight for virtually all of his pro career, which has complicated the recovery process. He must lose weight in order to decrease the amount of force he puts on his right foot when he runs, cuts, and jumps. But it's difficult for Williamson to lose weight without running, cutting, and jumping. It is possible he will need a second surgery on his right foot. Okay, that is really concerning, but it's also complete BS. The Pelicans are failing Zion because he's getting bad information. All of these reporters get their info from the team. The guy who wrote that article didn't just come up with that excuse for Zion being overweight. It's what he was told. And if the Pelicans think Zion can't lose weight because he can't exercise, they're wrong. All he needs is to be in a calorie deficit. He needs to put down the fork. Even if he can't exercise, and by the way, let's be honest, he could do something, even if it's just upper body weight training. All he needs to do is stop eating so much. I know a lot of people think, oh, some guys are just big no matter what, but that's not true. Look, I'm not a fitness expert, so you can slam me in the comments, but here's what actual experts have to say.
It's all BS. You need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. You need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. If you are not losing weight right now, it is because you are not in a calorie deficit.
Fat loss is very well understood and actually quite simple.
Yep. So fat loss comes from an energy deficit. So consuming less calories than you need to maintain weight.
A calorie deficit is a mandatory requirement for losing fat. You have to expend more energy than you take in. That's what stimulates your body to tap into its excess fat stores for energy.
Nobody is a victim of their genetics. Our body fat level is just a consequence of energy in and energy out.
So what do you do if you're not losing weight right now? You either eat less calories or burn off more calories, or a combination of both, okay? So 3 options. Has to be that.
I think the Pelicans are enabling Zion to live like he wants to live because they're afraid to piss him off. They got burned by Anthony Davis and don't want to lose another star. Zion is coming up in the era of player empowerment. I just made a video about how when players run teams, they ruin teams, like James Harden or Kevin Durant. But Zion actually needs a strong front office or veteran teammate that can hold him accountable. Charles Barkley actually said exactly that.
You're just going to keep getting hurt. Somebody's got to be a grown person down in that relationship and says, yo, man, you got to get in shape. And I know he got a lot of power. Yeah. So everybody's probably they're like, if we don't get something going, he's going to leave. But you're not going to win if he's always hurt either.
But New Orleans front office is too afraid to confront Zion, and they're actually just a bad front office, period. After missing the playoffs in 2020, they hired Stan Van Gundy with Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams to beef up the defense. But they finished with an even worse defense, 10 games under 500. Then they had to get rid of first-round picks to undo those horrible trades. Reports say Zion has hated the way that they've managed his minutes, and I'm pretty sure he hates the way they're acting right now. At the beginning of training camp, the Pelicans president David Griffin said he hoped Zion would be ready for day 1 of the season. When that didn't happen, he doubled down. It's not really a big deal for us because we've been dealing with it all off season. And we feel very confident about where things are. No, dude, it is a big deal. And while David Griffin is creating these totally fake expectations, where do you think all the heat goes when things go wrong? It all goes straight to Zion. So yeah, I get why they might be worried that Zion will leave. People have been wondering if he'll be the first player to ever turn down a rookie max extension, to go to New York. And I used to actually think that. But honestly, after another injury, he would be stupid to turn down that guaranteed money. Zion's own team is making excuses for him because they're afraid to lose him. And that's what we've gotten in this super team era. Small markets are afraid to lose their stars. So they will say whatever it takes to make the player happy. And that's actually hurting Zion. So what should the Pelicans be doing instead? I will explain that, but first, reason number 2 the NBA is failing Zion is the dumb comparisons. You know, like when Dwight Howard said Ben Simmons was the next LeBron. Well, stop comparing Zion to Greg Oden. When Oden was in 6th grade, he had hip surgery because he was born with one leg longer than the other. That continued to be an issue in the NBA, but also his knees were made of glass. He had multiple surgeries for microfractures and broken kneecaps. When he did play, he wasn't a star. His best season was 21 games, 11 points, 9 boards, and 2 blocks. Eventually, he signed with the Heat, and even though he was healthy, he fell out of their rotation at 26 years old. Instead, we should compare Zion to Joel Embiid. He didn't play his first 2 years with injuries, but when he finally did suit up, he was a star. Embiid's first 31 games, about 20 points and 8 boards. Clearly, he was more comfortable on the court when he was healthy than Greg Oden, just like we've seen from Zion. Embiid's injuries were a meniscus tear and then a broken foot. And those are normal basketball injuries. Zion missed his rookie year with a meniscus tear, then he was pulled out of the bubble for a hamstring, and now he has a broken foot. That is not the same as Greg Oden, with an extra long leg and broken kneecaps. Zion is clearly dealing with his weight, not fragile bones. So what the Pelicans should do right now is just pull the plug. Like, just tell everyone he is not going to come back this year. There's like 20 games left. Even if he doesn't need another surgery, the fact that it's looking like he might, it's not good. And that really sucks because the Pelicans have clawed their way back to a play-in spot and they improved the roster at the trade deadline. At this point, the Pelicans should just be completely honest going forward about Zion's issues. And they should confront Zion, even if it's uncomfortable, because he deserves better. Speaking of uncomfortable, you will not believe how James Harden acted on his way out of Brooklyn. It wasn't as public as the way he acted when he left Houston, but now that the details are coming out, it might actually be worse. Here, check it out.